I'm Rye2Fly, and I am high, and I'm about to try woodworking. So I'm gonna actually just kind of do it, and I'll kind of talk to you about what I'm doing, and then also about what I'm thinking while I'm doing it. So I'm wearing knee pads to protect my knees. I'm on the hard concrete, whatever here. So I have a little thing in one of my knee pads. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's kind of poking me. So if you see me jump randomly, it's because I have like a little needle or something that I can't find in my knee. And then, just to really catch you up to speed, my work boots decided to expire on me. So I'm dealing with that. First world troubles. Anyway, I'm just going to kind of hope that I am somewhat coherent in my thought process. So here we go. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking these pallets, and what I'm trying to do is break them apart without splitting the boards. Sorry, I just had a moment. I am high, after all. I'm trying to take the boards apart intact so that I can use them to place on a wall for a real vintage, rustic, I think is the word I'm looking for, rustic look. My grandmother's house was a little cabin in the Adirondack Mountains that my grandfather built for her. And I just like that really simple look, you know? And I'm taking apart these pallets. I got them for free. For one, you can't beat the price. For two, I like that they're kind of scarred, have nail holes and marks and whatever, and they're made out of pine. That means it's really soft and it'll split easily when you're hitting it. So, jumping right in, I've already taken one of these apart, and also, look, I'm not a kid, so sorry if you see my butt crack and stuff, but this is one of these pallets already split. These are really nice. They look really nice and they are perfect for what I'm trying to do. But it is very soft wood. The reason I'm telling you that is because if you just kind of hammer on these to break them apart, it's going to split every single board on you because it's that soft. So what you really need to do is kind of learn to, you know what I mean? Just kind of work it. Don't hit, don't give it all your, just don't, The art of subtlety is what I'm trying to say. What I did, knowing that I was probably going to break one or two, separated this first pallet, and I got one of these, which I'm now using as a brace to help me break apart the others. And it's really a matter of physics. If you look at this, and you have a pallet coming across and another board in the middle that isn't supported, well, it's going to be easier to break apart if you're using the counterforce. I don't know the fulcrum. Is that what it is? I should know that, but I don't. I would like to. If there's anyone who knows literally what that force is called, you should write it below. But I think it's a lost art, is what I'm trying to say. Using tools to your advantage instead of just going to Lowe's and bulldogging whatever it is you're doing. Use physics to help you figure out how to solve your problem. That was my first stoned ramble. But anyway, what I've done is now I'm supporting the next pallet on these two bracers, taking an extra piece of board, placing it on there, and kind of nailing it out, and they're coming out pretty easily. Because I know that I spent the first 2 hours of this 92-degree day hammering with a 4-pound hammer repeatedly. That got me nothing but soaking wet and a bunch of broken boards. So, fast forward, went and I smoked a blunt, maybe 3 hits of a blunt, and I started thinking, how can I make this easier for myself as well as being more productive? So that's where I am right now, and I'm just going to show you how I'm doing this. So here's the little spacer that I broke off of the first pallet as just to keep the actual board from being damaged as I hit it with the hammer. I'm basically supporting the two pieces on either side so that the one in the middle is most susceptible to the force, the downward force of the hammer. So again, using my spacer to not mark up the wood. Boom. 3 hits and it's done. Is everyone going to come out easily? Definitely not. Definitely not. But if you focus your energy, like the ancient masters would say, you can maximize your strike, thereby lessening the work you do. So those are the easy ones, but that's kind of the point too, is if you get rid of the easy ones, well then the ones that were harder before become easier. They're loose. There's less things holding them, right? Wear your earmuffs. It's just that it's kind of hard to talk and do that. Also glasses, because of the stuff. But I have to wear glasses because I'm blind, kind of. Anyway, so I use this spacer to kind of dig into the corner. You have to adjust it every time anyway. What I'm doing is moving it around, kind of evenly dispersing the wax so that it works the nail out of the board. Don't worry, I'm going to cut this out. Most of it, at least. So, I'm on the second since I started recording. And I'll be honest with you, I'm having the most difficult time of them all. However, I think that is probably the fact that I've already been out here for 4 hours, sweating my butt off, and swinging that hammer, which will get to even the best of us. Self-awareness. Speaking of, I'm reading a book about Dr. Timothy Leary. I think he's a very important figure. I'm not saying he's the most sane person in the world, and I don't know if that's a factor of the amount of drugs that he ingested, or if he was already a lunatic who took up the cause of consciousness expansion. He and his crew, literally the first people in the world to, on a large scale, start taking hallucinogens, of which he classified marijuana the most mild. I'm sorry, not a hallucinogen, but a psychedelic. And he considered marijuana to be the most mild of the psychedelics. You should definitely check it out. He's got some interesting things to say. I mean, to get right to the point, his mass consumption of LSD led almost directly to the most influential albums by a long way in popular music, which are Rubber Soul and Revolver and Sgt. Pepper and Magical Mystery Tour, all the Beatles, right? Of course, that Beatles catalog, that is incredible. And then kind of less directly, still the same line is, Pink Floyd and anybody else that ever got high and made a record, all the way down to Chance and Future. So, I'm no expert. I'm not going to tell you that this is easy. I mean, it is fun knowing that I've used science to figure it out, although I'm sure there's someone else who's figured out an even easier way. But for me, I'm getting it done, and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm getting a hell of a workout, and that's about it. So, I think what we've proven here today is that using science, you can carefully and effectively and subtly take apart pallets for reuse. Or you can also bash the hell out of them, nearly stab yourself in the face with a nail, and break the board. So you pick, which is it? But yeah, so I'm sweaty and